Good afternoon, sweet world, or day, or time zone, wherever you happen to be. Hello. Welcome to this Twitch stream. Hi, my name is Anch. I play video games on the internet, and sometimes I talk about them. From time to time, we get into the news, video game industry news, because I'm interested in the video game industry. And I want to learn more about it, but I don't pretend to know everything. I do not know everything, in fact. But that is one of the benefits of being in a growth mindset and not a fixed mindset. There's a book that I've been reading called Mindset, which kind of defines the world in these two kind of, it makes the definition for these two mindsets, a fixed mindset or a growth mindset, and then starts to kind of pose questions for you to ask yourself to think about where you might place yourself. Do you believe that you have a fixed quotient of intelligence, or do you believe that it's something that can be improved over time? Those kind of things. Anyway, interesting book. But I don't know. It's I've always been interested in learning, and that's kind of why I do this kind of stuff. And it's taken a whole bunch of different turns and different formats. And, I used to do a lot of research before coming on and creating scripts and all this kind of stuff. But I've fallen in favor of just going straight to the news articles and picking them up and reading through them here instead, because it's just a faster way to get in and get out. And so that's kind of currently what it looks like. A whole bunch of stuff, because I've been away for, a couple of weeks here. There's a bit of a contract situation where I wasn't sure what was going to happen with it. And it seems to have been resolved for the most part. If anything, it buys me more time, but there's still kind of a bigger question mark hanging around, what am I going to do in kind of the longer term? And whether I'm going to move or not and all this kind of stuff, which I'm going to have to kind of figure out. So anyway, booked vacation as well over the holidays, and shelled out a lot of money here to try and travel because I was late getting bookings in. So, but I'll be going to Vancouver. Over the Christmas break there. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll be able to find a job. I don't know. No. Quite a lot has been going on. Why don't we get right into it? If I go over here. Oh, I'm going to have to fix. All right, let's fix all this real quick. So I can turn that on. Hello. And I get the screen open. Hang on. Okay. And I can turn this image off. And turn that back on. And let's get a window open. For this one, swap it. And turn on. There we go. Okay. Poncho arrived. That is an incredible GIF, I suppose. Thanks for the for the big GIF. He was wearing some fantastic costumes the other day. I think including that hat and a shrimp costume. Okay, let's get into it. Let's start with Valve, because that's obviously the big thing, I think. I can't tell you how excited I am. I haven't been this excited for something in quite some time in video games. I think for finally some good news, right? The goings on in games has made me more kind of, well, I don't know if depressed is the right word, but kind of more depressed or kind of more cynical, maybe. I don't know, just kind of bummed about all the things that go on, and how much more expensive things are getting, and how our perceived value of things has decreased, and prices increases here and there, and just not feeling like we're getting any value for the money that we spend on these things, on these modern things. Certainly, I mean, in the context of watching everybody play brand new video games, right? And then you get news like this. So Valve is making a GameCube. This is from GameFile. Let's see what this is. GameFile by Steven Totilo. So Valve PC Power Player behind Steam, Half-Life, and Aperture Desktop has announced 3 pieces of hardware: the VR headset called Steam Frame, the Steam controller, which looks fantastic, and the tiny gaming PC called the Steam Machine. And so it is promising a powerful PC gaming made easy. And I think, let's see. Right, they have tried this before. So a decade before, they tried coming out with their kind of simplified gaming PC, and that didn't work. And so now, following success of the Steam Deck, though it hasn't made a dent into the Switch, they are coming with this Steam Machine. It targets casual PC gamers who are more comfortable with consoles but have been happy to play a river of PC games with no tinkering required. Yeah. So on power, The Verge has seen the Steam Machine running CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk at settings that resembled the performance of a PS5 Pro. On price, it should be in the same ballpark as consoles, but launch date and price will be revealed in the new year. So Valve has denied that it's trying to make Steam machines again because of anything popular. And so here is Pierre-Luc Griffet answering whether they are evolving into gaming PCs. Most of our thinking is not informed by what's happening on the console side. I don't know if we have many theories as to where that might be headed. In general, it seems people seem to be recognizing that there's quite a bit of value in a more PC-like experience and the customizability and all that. So there's that keyword, value. Switch 2 sold more in the first week than the Steam Deck's entire lifetime. Yeah. This is, I guess that's the thing of having just kind of that pent-up demand for specifically a new Switch. Yeah, it's kind of on a different scale. For Pikachu. Valve is unlikely to unseat console hardware makers, but the Steam Machine is more evidence of industry-wide thought convergence. Lots of companies are going for the idea that the games you should own should run on hardware and platforms that you use. And so they should be wherever you need them to be. It's kind of the thinking. But, so we see like arguments like that come up all the time, and it's kind of like, well, you only make that argument once you believe that you've lost, essentially. Like once you believe that being exclusive or doing any of that stuff is not going to be in your favor anymore, then you fall back on the argument to say like, oh, we should make this available everywhere. And then you try to spin it as if it's like some positive play that you're doing something so great for people in general, when it's not. It's just like, that's how we're going to make more money, because if we try to do it this other way, we're not going to make money. So yeah, it's like Xbox has joined Sega, right? The Xbox is like on the sidelines with Sega now at this point, is what it feels like. And with this thing specifically, it's like Steam has, or Valve has like stepped in front of Xbox's strategy, which is like eventually Xbox is going to come with their own gaming PC thing, right? Like I think this is ultimately where they want to go with whatever their next Xbox will be, and who knows, maybe it'll be a more high spec version of something like this. Yeah. yes, this is very exciting. We'll have to see what the price point is. I think so. I've watched the videos. I've watched the kind of what's it called. I think The Verge. No, I watched the Digital Foundry video, who does like a really in-depth analysis on tech specs and all this kind of stuff. And I watched part of the IGN video. The problem with the IGN video is that I don't know, one of them very explicitly says that it's an opinion, and then says like, I endorse this opinion. It's like, you're supposed to be like an independent publication. I don't want your opinion. I want like a thoroughly reviewed editorial. That's what I want, so that I can trust the advice, or like the recommendations, or like the analysis that has been provided within. I don't want your opinion to be like, oh yeah, this seems great, you should buy it. Whatever, like from anybody, So anytime I see that kind of stuff, I'm just like, okay, well, I don't know. Let's see what else I can find. And if there's nothing else, then I'll watch your IGN video. But yeah. But anyway, so in terms of spec, right? It feels like for consoles, you're going into this area where it's like more and more high spec to be able to play modern video games that are becoming more and more demanding, and costs are increasing everywhere. And whether they should or they shouldn't, they are. And regardless of whose responsibility that is. So there's like some costs are going to be endogenous. I think about like endogeneity and exogeneity, right? And which means internal or external, I guess, in simplistic terms. And so when we talk about like in formal like economics, when people are talking about economics, they're building their economic models. They will have things that are exogenous to the model. They are just all these external things that are happening that you can't control, right? So like here, I would put things like tariffs, or like unforeseen trade wars, or like all this kind of stuff that increases noise and therefore affects what's going on with cost or volume or profit. And then there are things that are endogenous. There are things that you control. There are things that you can change, and that will directly affect costs, right? So if you're talking about endogenous to a company, then it's like, oh, we can control who we hire, for how much we're going to pay them. We can control how much we invest in technology. We can control all these things that'll affect how much cost we take on and all this kind of stuff. And then we can't control that, some crazy bullshit's going to happen with trade wars and stuff, and that's going to increase costs in unforeseen ways, and that's external to us. It affects us, but we can't control it. Anyway, so you have all these things that are going on that are pushing up costs one way or another. And pretty much all of these, these publishers really, or these manufacturers, have been happy to just increase prices as a way to combat that. And so they're passing on the cost to the customer, and they're just hoping that, customers basically now self-select into like, hey, if I can make more money, or I can put away more money, or maybe I'll spend less on education, or like whatever it is, maybe I'll eat less, maybe I'll smoke less. I'll have to adjust something in my personal budget so that I can afford video games if they're that important to me. And then you have something like this that comes that seems to be saying, well, you know what, we'll make it mid-spec, and we will use whatever technology we can to upscale, and we'll kind of sit right in this pocket, right? And I really hope that's what they're going for. So we'll see. We'll see what the price is in the end and see if that's what it is. But that seems to be the case, right? Because it's not the on the hardware side, they seem to be very reserved in a way where they don't necessarily have to be. Like they didn't have to be, I guess. It could have been. I would have liked to see it more high spec, to be honest. I would have liked to buy a really powerful machine and completely like get away from the problem of having to build another PC. But I don't know if that's what this will be. I don't know if it's accurate that they should be advertising this as 4K 60 with FSR or whatever. They're basically saying that it's going to be 4K resolution and 60 FPS, but that's the asterisk, is that it's going to use some upscaling technology. And I think if you take a look at those other videos online that are kind of, like the Digital Foundries of the world, who go through the technical analysis, I think you'll see that it's questionable whether it will reach those frames that are being claimed, and it will depend on the individual game. It'll obviously, first of all, it depends on the game, and then secondly, it'll depend on the settings. I think the powerful thing though with such a device is community, because Steam community is huge, right? We just came off the other week looking at, debating whether Steam is a monopoly or not, and they're not. But they are certainly in oligopolistic competition is what I'd kind of characterize it as, right? Because you have so many big players that control a very large part of the market, but then you also have like many smaller individual players that are like, if it was only those small ones, you would think it's like perfect competition, but it's not. But since Steam is so big, and since Steam community is so big, you now have the opportunity for people within Steam community to start coming up with profiles for the game. So the games will already have their default profiles, and there will be a specific thing in the APIs for developers to be able to set specific settings for this Steam machine, right? So that you will get the optimized default for that machine. But let's say that the developer gets it wrong, or let's say that for whatever reason, things aren't working right. You have a whole army of Steam users that will be tinkering around with settings to try and find something that works on everybody who's working with basically the same machine, right? There's like a few exceptions to that, I guess, who will be able to then share profiles that you can just kind of switch between. So I think that's exciting. I think, and so the other couple of things here, though, the asterisk is that not everybody, I guess, will have the same machine, because there are some things that you can modify on it, and that's the RAM. Which is probably why the RAM is at, I think it comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 8 gigabytes of 8 gigabytes of RAM on the video card, on the custom video card that they have there. And that I think you can expand the RAM itself, though, not the RAM that comes on the video card. So yeah, fresh new meme. We have fresh new memes. Oh, good. Yes, Sega and Xbox on that table. Yeah, Sega and Xbox are sitting together on the nightstand, and that is excellent. Oh man, I love that. Brilliant. Okay. Outstanding. Oh man. So we'll see where this goes. Let's see what else is in here. I think so. The other couple of things, you put more production quality than YouTube thumbnails. This is really good. I think the other things that we've kind of skirted around here is the VR thing, right? So there's the Steam Frame, which I haven't looked a whole lot into. I think I've never been huge into VR. I think I don't like the idea of strapping myself into a device where like I can't be aware of my surroundings, and that requires me to move around. I've never been comfortable with that idea. I've never been comfortable with cables and having all those cables around you as you're trying to move around. And so with this device, it's really wireless, right? The Steam machine is fully built to customize in. And I don't know. I think the other problem is that it's kind of like a chicken and the egg argument with VR, because it's like you don't have enough of a critical mass of people who would be willing to buy the games or buy the hardware, and then you have developers and investors, and well, not investors, but like virtual venture capital type people that don't want to throw in the money because they're not sure if there's a market for it. And then all those VC people anyway have been going and have dumped into AI and continue to do that. So, you know, that kind of solves a problem when you have something like the Steam Machine and Valve here, because they come with their Steam community. They come with however millions of users are on that goddamn platform now at this point. So that's interesting to see kind of where that goes. And I think also the other cool thing about this is that there's kind of the option to use that frame as, like, I don't know, as a replacement for your TV, basically, to where like you can sit down and play a game on it. It's just that the monitor is in your face and not, you know, whatever, 60 feet away from you, whatever it is. So we'll see. I've been holding off buying a TV for quite some time, and I feel like once the Steam Machine comes out, if it's something that I want to get, aside from some obscure, like who knows, maybe it'll actually be good for 2 PC streaming setup. That would be interesting to see as well. I don't know. I have my doubts. About that. In theory, though, but we'll see. And that's because the streaming technology gets weird. It's like there's 2 separate chips on your well, anyway, if you have an NVIDIA card, there's 2 separate chips, and so it's not really guaranteed that that the encoding chip for the stream will be helped out by having a separate PC here that is doing a bunch of rendering. So we'll see how it goes. Let's move it on. So I saw this as well in VGC, and so this is the talking about the Steam Deck 2. I mean, we've already known that they were kind of waiting around to get a advancement in technology before wanting to come through with the next iteration of the Steam Deck that is not just like an OLED, which they've done. And so this is just, the Steam Deck's not our focus today. So this must have been these, these engineers receiving questions while they were trying to present this frame and machine. So anyway, that line is the same. That's fine. You really want to know how many games on Steam are going to be Steam frame compatible? Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I haven't seen much info. I haven't looked into the Steam frame too much, so I'm not sure what that's going to be like. That'll be interesting to see, though. And a lot of compatibility with much of the Steam library is going to be a big question, I guess. But I mean, certainly the developers and publishers are going to have a large incentive to get those games certified, because then it'll just put their games on the forefront of being purchased. Yeah. I think the other kind of question mark that I have here, though, is just how do some of these how do some of the publishers and developers respond? Well, in particular the publishers, I guess. How do they respond? Because I feel like take a Sony, for example, who like already has, delayed PC ports as part of a strategy, or in some other cases just says we're not going to do PC ports at all. And I wonder if Steam starts to try to infringe a bit on console space, if some publishers say, like, we're not going to come to Steam with our game. We just want to keep that on our thing, right? Again, that's Xbox can't do that, but Sony could. And obviously Nintendo already does that, so whatever. Anyway, we'll see where it goes. It's a very interesting thing. I'm very interested in seeing, first of all, what that price point will be, and then we'll go into it. We'll see. This is another article from GameFile. So 2025 is the gaming year Microsoft has long promised its players, but whether it's sustainable, it's a big question. Again, Steven Totillo. It's an interesting graph here. So this is plotting the number of game studios that Microsoft has by the end of the year on each year. And so peaking in 2023 with 32 game studios. And at the end of 2025, they have 27 game studios. So they've been ramping up their game releases again, like in 2023, or where like it feels like a couple of years ago we were always talking about like, oh, when are they going to have big game releases and all this kind of stuff. And so they have been certainly increasing their number of new games, of remakes and expansions. But the little dotted line down here then shows only the number of new games, right? And so taking 2025 as an example, then the number of new games, there have been 9 new games and 19 releases in total. So 19 minus 9 is 10. So therefore 10 of those games are just 10 of those releases rather are expansions or remakes. And so anyway, the question is it sustainable? And the answer is probably no. But let's see. So their major releases in winter were about, that's right, Doom was there, Gears of War was there. The Outer Worlds 2, which I don't think has been doing that fantastic. I don't know. I keep hearing like negative things about it. I lost my interest completely in anything Xbox. Ever since they pushed their price increases, I've been completely like just kind of not interested. Not really interested at all. And I don't know, observing some similar sentiment from others on the internet. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll kind of see where it goes. Anything else here? Okay. So most of its 2025 games are from studios the company only acquired close to the launch of its 4th console, the X and S. Obsidian was purchased in 2018. id Software purchased in 2021. Compulsion Games in 2018. Double Fine in 2019. The only long-term Xbox studio with a new release in 2025 was Coalition. Okay, founded in 2010. And he's saying not necessarily pro or con, but it is contrasting with console makers like Sony and Nintendo, who have much more experienced teams, I guess is the thing, or much more continuity anyway. Okay. Another thing here is that most traditional Xbox studios have been working on future games. Okay. Yeah, okay, so that's right. So we have the Halo stuff that's in the works, which also I've been thinking about Halo recently. Mostly because I've been looking at Metroid. I don't know. Also, there's a EG Community Night thing, I think, coming up with a Halo game. That's also happening. I think maybe that's next week. Let's see here. And of course, Microsoft's pushing into you do your best to forget Halo. Are you just not a fan? Or are you just like, whatever? Sorry. I mean, hey, I'm obviously more of a Valve guy, so I prefer Counter-Strike or Half-Life anyway. Oh man, can we get Half-Life 3 on the Steam machine? Could we do that? Man, can't wait. Okay, anyway, lots of I think the whole point of this article is that there are lots of remakes and remasters. I think that's really what's going on here. So hey, okay. But I will, I do like that he does conclude on a point here. Coming down to the bottom of this article is Satya Nadella, who's the CEO, who was quoted as saying the best way to innovate is to have good margins, because that's the way that you can fund. Yeah. So the problem with this though is that I think they'll find that that pushing yourself to good margins by controlling the price and not the cost is a good way to alienate your customer base. So good luck to you on that, because you've already done that to one of them. So good job, Xbox. Speaking of Xbox, as one of the largest publishers of Steam, Phil Spencer welcomes the Steam Machine reveal. Of course he would. Of course they would. They don't have another choice. That's the whole thing. So you just look at that and you're just like, all right, well, I don't know. We'll just have to try to get more of our games onto here. All of our games are already going to be on here, but they're especially going to be there now. And it's just another thing that we have to think about when we're trying to develop and ship a game, that it needs to have all the requirements satisfied for Steam Machine, and we got to make sure that it's Steam Machine certified so that we can put it out in front of Steam Machine buyers or Steam Machine owners who are looking to buy video games. I think that's really all that we need to think about there. There is, of course, Metroid Prime 4, so we'll go back to GameFile. And so Steven Stillo and whoever else must have, some embargo must have lifted on Metroid Prime 4. Can't wait till Microsoft buys. Can you imagine if I wonder if Gabe would even do that? I don't know. He would be such a villain if he did, I feel like. Oh, man. I didn't even know I had that emote. That's so good, man. Or maybe that's just like stock on BTTV. He's already a villain. All right. And he'll just lean into it. Okay. All right. Fine. All right. Okay. So, hey, I put in a pre-order for this game and then I canceled my pre-order because I don't know. I never pre-order. I always say that you shouldn't pre-order because you don't really get anything for it. And really the only way that you should pre-order is if you do get something for it, actually. A substantial that you're looking for. But and I guess, I'm already lying because I pre-ordered the World of Warcraft expansion, but that's kind of a different story. That's more of a ongoing social activity and commitment. And so that's why that happens, really. And they do give you stuff for it anyway, so it just makes it like, okay, I guess I'll go in. But anyway, I'm hoping for a lot here. And so the kind of gist of what I gather is there's like a lot of well, let's see, right? So he's played through maybe an hour of the first area, and he spent a lot of time doing a whole bunch of like first person archaeology, anthropology, and exploration is what's going on. And so it's kind of more than just a shooter, right? I think in general you'll be spending more of your time scanning things and reading things and flipping things and doing puzzles and whatever else than you will be fighting, I think. World of Warcraft is feeling nice. Let's see here. Here's another video clip, I guess audio clip if you're listening. And oh yeah, and then there's okay. So here's an example of using psychic powers to open a door. It sounds fantastic. There's like, as usual, they nail audio design. And then here's the face showing up on the laser blast. Oh, who's that? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's enough of that. It looks beautiful. Let's see here. So there is a planet. So Planet Vuros is what you're going to be on. It is a massive map. There's a large grid. He has only played a portion of the grid, which is making it seem expansive. He hasn't been able to ride the motorcycle, the Viola. But okay, all right. And she will obtain. Samus will obtain various psychic abilities. I can't wait to hear Ben tell me that the first time he looked up Metroid Prime 4 and saw the rain. Uh-oh. Man. Hang on. All right, let's get to some of these details here. So it has casual and normal difficulty levels. Good. Because I don't know, depending on how things go, if I wanted to get this game, I could see myself going on casual, to be honest. Having never done a Metroid, and certainly not a Metroid like this. But Prime 4 is heavily tutorialized, with helper text promoting the player about how and when to use abilities and to solve problems, which could be distracting, but you do have an option to turn it off. You don't need it. Maybe some people will not need it, but others will. The game's world is full of clues that you can read by scanning objects, creatures, and plants. They will offer sufficient help to experienced Metroid Prime players and the most curious newcomers. So that's good. That's really good. I think, this is, obviously this is increasingly a space where you need to appeal to as many people as possible. But then I think the other thing here is that there are absolutely going to be so many people that have not touched a Metroid game before. And there are going to be so many people who are like sitting with this console in their hand going like, where are the new games? Where are the new games? Can you give me some new games to buy? So you need this game to be like accessible to them as they go and play it, right? So you'll achieve that through different difficulty modes and through the option of having those very detailed instructions provided to the player. Very important. Very glad that they have that there. So handheld mode, it runs 720p, 120 frames, 1080p, 120 frames docked. Really? Wow. Oh, but okay, so there's a performance mode. So that's performance mode. Quality mode runs at 1080p, 60 FPS, and at 4K, 60 FPS docked. Wow. Cool. That's really cool for a Nintendo system in 2025. Okay. It looked great. It felt very comfortable to play and sounded terrific. I agree with you that it sounds terrific. It looks pretty good too. I think, as usual, it kind of leans on high contrast colors. Hey, Biftek, how's it going? Yeah, FS7 did this, and it worked out nice. Yeah. Brace yourself. Oh man. Oh my goodness. Thanks for the gift sub to the
Once again, Black Shadow is running riot in the lightning area. All citizens are advised to evacuate immediately. We repeat, all citizens are advised to evacuate immediately.
Evacuate immediately. It is not safe. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Biftech is absolutely cool people. So yeah, anyway, all that to say, I've canceled the pre-order, and we'll see. I'll let it come out. We'll see what the video game reviews 2. We'll see how it goes, and then I don't know. Maybe Boo This Man will play this video game. Maybe I can just watch Boo This Man play it, and then see if I want to do it or not. We'll see. That's coming out soon though. December 4th, maybe, I think is the release date for it. Release date Metroid Prime 4. Yeah, December 4th. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. Good shout out. Thanks. Absolutely. Okay, let's move it on. This is Ubisoft. So Ubisoft, there's a very strange thing here. Ubisoft called off an earnings release on the day of, and so they also requested that the trading of its shares be halted. And so they said that the results will be published in the coming days instead. They didn't offer any detail. In a statement, they said that they asked Euronext to halt trading shares and bonds until results are published, and that they would inform the market of the date on which trading will restart. Yeah, here we go with Ubisoft, right? Why is it never good, man? They didn't respond to a request for comment. They said in a memo to employees that they're taking extra time to finalize the closing of the semester. American depository receipts slid as much as 19%. What is that? Does that mean just like bookings? Does that mean like unearned revenue and revenue? Shares in Paris have fallen 49%. Who doesn't love a bit of market manipulation? iBaysoft. Oh my god, dude. Okay. It's unusual for any publicly traded company to postpone an earnings report on the day of its scheduled release. And it escalates concerns about recent setbacks that they've suffered. They said they would need more time to develop biggest titles and forecast no revenue growth for the fiscal year. They have pushed last year. They pushed back Shadows after that Star Wars game was not so great. CFO Frederic Duguay had been due to host a media briefing call, but the call was postponed without explanation and then canceled. Earlier this year, they had announced that they were partnering with Tencent, the Chinese company, and they created some new studio out of that. I think it's called, I want to say it's called Vantage or something like that. It starts with a V. I can't even remember what that studio is called, but it is there, and I think it's based in Canada too. Which isn't good for us. I don't think. It depends. I don't know. I just worry about the staff and the IP, I guess, is kind of the thing. But I mean, hey, Ubisoft they've made their own bed and now they're laying in it. So, okay. Yeah, this is very unusual. And I think so. They say, this is the funniest thing to me too. They say in this memo that they've requested the trading halt to limit unnecessarily speculation and market volatility during the short delay. But all this serves to do is increase that speculation and increase that volatility. So I don't know, like, because as soon as it comes back on, if it isn't already back on, I guess we have to wait till next week to see. When was this published? This was November 13th. Yeah. Which is, this was Thursday, so I'm not sure if it was up on Friday or not, but, yeah. That all, like, in theory, any of the, like, speculation or the, like the speculation in that would then affect the price would be priced in after it goes back on. So if it's due to slide now because of a loss in confidence, as soon as it comes back on the market, you would expect to see that slide immediately. So hey, I don't know. We'll keep waiting. We'll keep holding our breath and waiting to see what the hell they do here. But that happened on Thursday. We did see that GTA 6 was postponed to November, and so the industry collectively lets off a sigh. That we'll have some more breathing room until November next year. There was a 20+% swing on the price. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Oh my goodness. I should be able to. You know, I thought that I'd be able to see it here, but oh, here we go. This might take me to it. Oh, yeah, there you go. There it is. That's gross. What the hell? What is that? Oh, no, wait, hang on. That's from November 7th to the 10th. So, oh, here we go. Yeah. 11th, 12th, 13th. I wish I could get like 2 days on this graph instead. But, oh, here we go. I guess that's a better view. So there's the 11th, that's 6.57, then 6.83, and then 6.77. And that's kind of the latest data point. Oh, I see. There's more than one share. Correct. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see where it goes. What a crazy thing. And, you know, standard fare for Ubisoft just doing shit like this. Let's see. So Take-Two delayed this. I think their stock took a little bit of a hit here, but I think it's more than recovered by now, so it doesn't matter as far as I can tell anyway. I think I looked at it last week. I think I looked at it yesterday, actually. Not much here. Not much here to talk about. The other thing here is so Square Enix also made a move here to cut more Western staff, and you know this like I've always held on to like this kind of core belief that when something goes wrong at Square Enix, if they have an opportunity to blame Western staff, they will. I don't know. I've seen that, I guess, enough in the past to where that's just become my core belief that is solidified. But here we go. Square Enix is trying to save on costs, and so they're cutting Western staff. They've already, and so this follows up, like they've already gotten rid of Western Studios, so they got rid of their Tomb Raider IP. They got rid of Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal, and so now they are slashing whatever. I think these are like corporate support staff. They might be HR employees. They might be financial employees. I'm not sure. Called it restructuring because the last restructuring didn't work out. Oh, cool. Okay. Gotcha. And so they are looking to adopt a globally integrated marketing strategy, which would mean a central marketing organization in Japan with small teams or outsourcing partners in other countries. They're just doing crap and hope it works. Yeah. Oh man. But the Western, so this is Jacob Novak, who I believe used to be, is he not in Square Enix still? I don't think I'm going to be able to link to X here. I don't have an X account. I think he did used to be, he was a former Square Enix employee. If he's not still working there. But the Western closures are not enough. They're expected to save $20 million. It's not very much. Yes. The bigger costs are thousands of staff in Japan. There's a bullet here that is pretty significant, and that is that Square Enix also expects to save money through the use of artificial intelligence. It believes that 70% of the QA work is to be managed by AI, which is the first time I read that bullet, I just laughed. I just kind of blurted out laughing. But this is kind of scary, because I don't know what that is going to mean for the quality of the end product. I'm not very hopeful that it's going to be positive, basically. because I feel like what's going to happen is that you're going to have a lot of bias that's built into positive answers, or like to basically like confirmation bias is going to be fueled, which would then allow for a lot of mistakes to end up in the final product. Yeah, which I suppose happens now anyway, but I would be afraid of having more of it. They're tanking so hard. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been following Square Enix that closely but I mean, if we think about it, yeah, and sure, yeah, you're right. More companies have been turning to this, and we haven't really seen an example of what's turned out better for people, right? Than using people. Yeah, I feel like we've gone from like where you used to have like lots of QA internally to then trying to slash QA and just leave it to the players. And so now they're like, okay, well, if we don't leave it to the players, let's leave it to the AI, and we don't want the people, so we'll leave it to the AI, and that's just going to make it worse for the players. I mean, fantastic. You mean like in terms of failed projects and so on? Yeah, it's yeah. Again, I just don't have a firm kind of picture of Square Enix stuff in my mind. I'd have to like go back and really try to track down what it is that they've been doing. But certainly, like they have been. It's what's been making them cut the West out of the picture as they try to like consolidate into what it is that they should be doing. And yeah, it does feel like over the past, it's been like, you know, they've got that right, FF14, right? They have their few MMOs that they do. They have the Final Fantasy that they try to do once, you know, whatever, not once a year, but that they try to maintain as a franchise. But even that, I've kind of fallen. I don't know, like I've fallen off of it since 15, and it kind of feels like they're running out of steam on that. You know, I now when I think about Final Fantasy, I have more reverence for old games than I do for new games. Certainly, even though those games are beautiful now, for sure. It's just I don't know. It's more than fidelity, I guess, at this point. But yeah, we'll see where they go. I think that's about it here. Oh, that's right. So Borderlands 4 is also under Take-Two, and so they will benefit from that. Okay. I don't really care about NetEase. That's fine. They're closing a studio, it seems. Switch 2 sales outlook has been raised by 4 million. Switch 2 shipments estimate has been raised to 19 million for the financial year. They've sold more than double the original Switch over the same time as the launch period. Okay. 20 million copies of Switch 2 games have been sold. Doesn't include Switch 1 games that are playable on the new hardware. Real test will be how successful it will be going forward. And so we have Air Riders, Tennis Fever, and Fire Emblem Fortune's Wheel. I don't think I've seen a trailer for this yet. I think I completely missed out on that one. And yeah, I think there is absolutely merit to what you're saying there with FF14, kind of, you know, Square Enix being kind of hitched on it for a large part of their success. Yeah. Okay. Just many little things here. That's fine. It's just there's something here about Google and Epic Games. There's some legal battle that they're having there in terms of their app stores and fees that are being charged that is kind of uninteresting, but also certainly impactful in terms of dollar value. There's also something on Roblox. I think they've like basically integrated some sort of IP, like almost like IP requisitioning, so that if you're a creator on Roblox, then you can go through some forms to requisition some sort of IP. It just makes it easier for them to use existing IP that other companies have that have brought to Roblox, so that they can incorporate that into the Roblox thing that they're doing. Which is like it still makes me kind of uncomfortable and whatever, but yeah, that is another way to make money. Okay, let's keep moving here. So here's the game business article on the Steam Machine. We've already spent a lot of time on the Steam Machine, so I think we can probably just skim over this. So the core question is, why will it be different this time? And I think the difference will be that they have a Steam Deck that will integrate with this thing. They have additional hardware like that frame that will integrate with this thing, and they have about, it's 10 years later with lots of Steam users on a platform that could really kind of solve an issue for them, which is to be able to get into a game as fast as possible. And with things that are always up to date and always ready to go. So that's fine. Let's skim. Oh, they also did an interview with price on the Steam frame. I don't know. I think under $1,000. The Valve Index. Oh, that's their other headset, their other VR headset thing, right? As long as PCs are able to play Steam games, you can't see yourself not having a modern PC. Yeah. So this headset, I think it could be like $1,000 as well. I think they have a bunch of proprietary technology that's in here. It doesn't, like, it's not, I'm battling my dreams of having just mid-tier software and hardware that can be affordable. But I think in this case, this thing will probably run you $800 to $1,000. I would be really surprised if it was below that. And the Steam Machine itself, I think, will probably be somewhere around there. I mean, I would hope that the Steam Machine itself would be something like 600. I would really hope for that, but we'll see. I'm not sure what that's going to be. And in terms of like whether like the device would be for you or not, yeah, I mean like, it's never going to replace if you're a PC gamer through and through, and you want to be able to play the things on the highest graphic settings and all this kind of stuff. Then you're always going to want your modern PC, and you're going to be happy with dealing. Well, you're not going to be happy, but you're going to be you will accept dealing with Windows and whatever else operating system stuff that you have to deal with to be able to play these games and all the issues that can arise from that. But yeah, I don't think that the device itself will be, it's not going to be a replacement, right? So yeah, so it's not, so as far as the redundancy thing, I feel like, it is like, it's clearly trying to be in the it's trying to play in the console space, even though they're saying that it's that's not what they're thinking about. You know, and so like for me, it would be something that would go in the living room, right? It could be something that I have out here where my PC is, but if it was, then it would be for something that I was just playing some, like, you know, some sort of like quote unquote console type of game that I was going to have on a controller. By the way, that controller that we haven't talked about at all is a really cool controller and looks really interesting and ergonomically sound, and has a whole bunch of buttons on it that are programmable, and has a puck on it, and a really big ass battery. And I don't know, it looks really good. It looks really comfy too. But we'll see. And so yeah, so the only reason that you would buy I'm talking with BiffTech here, that you would buy the PlayStation console is because of exclusivity, right? And so yeah, that's kind of, you know, it's why I've moved away from the idea of buying an Xbox. If I wanted to get a console, I was always thinking about buying a PlayStation because of some title exclusivity. But the more and more that we kind of progress over here, and the more expensive that things get, the more I kind of self-select outside of video games, because it's gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to make your thing exclusive, I'm just not going to play it. That's totally fine, because there's so many other choices that I have here, that playing your video game doesn't have to be one of them. I've held off that long enough, and really the only I mean, so this is like, obviously this is going to be very personal, and we're talking about our personal views on how we see video games, right? So it is going to be personal, and therefore not representative about a market. But I could see myself having a machine like this, where most of my game library is, serving as kind of a console equivalent. And the more that we have publishers that are willing to publish across all platforms, then you get to benefit from that, I suppose. But we'll see, because like the Steam machine is like, I don't know, to me it's kind of cool in concept, but it's gonna all depend on how well the thing actually runs the games. So I don't know. Yeah. And I think like the other thing is just in terms of like going back to this idea of like getting into the game, like just getting into the game. So like if I sit down at the computer, I'll sit down here, and you know, I'll like as soon as I boot up, I get like 5 applications that are in my face. I get the notes, I get my calendar, looking at all the things that I have to do, and like I'm so far removed from opening Steam and opening up and just playing a game, to where if you just had like a thing over here and I just press a button on the Steam controller, and this is not it's an Xbox controller, but whatever, I press the big X on it, and it just opens up the game and gets me going without having to even look, like not even going through the operating system. That's kind of what this is about. This is just getting people into the game so that they play the game rather than have a whole bunch of distractions around them, you know? Yeah. Oh, I got you with that. Yeah. Cool. Okay. They also did an interview with Reggie Fils-Aimé about the Switch 2, but I'm gonna kind of skip over this. I still have to go listen to this myself, so that's fine. There was also a state of play, which I did not watch. But hey, there's Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly remake. Falcon's interested in that. Crystal is interested in that. It was very Japan focused, so I'll come back and, I don't know, take a look at some of this stuff later. But no, that happened. I wonder if anyone did a watch party. You're so power crazy for that. Nice. Oh man. So this is kind of a last thing here is Legends EA is the best-selling physical game of the year so far in the US. Oh, this is coming out on Thursday. This is Piscatella saying that it's going to be one of the big drivers of the holiday quarter. which is kind of crazy to me. That's an ad. I think I ran out of snoozes. That's okay. We're just about wrapping up here anyway. This is, I don't know. Hey man, it's selling really well. I don't know if that's a reflection on the total quality of the thing, but hey man, it's selling well. Also, Pragmata got a rating, right, in South Korea, like the ESRB or whatever. It's been rated in South Korea, so that's just that that release information for the game could be coming out soon. Yeah, I wonder what that comparative sales information will show. Yeah, this is the game with the AI kid. I'm excited about this game. I'm of course I haven't been able to touch any demos or anything like that, but it looks interesting. It's brand new IP, so which I think is always risky, but always endearing when we see it happen. When we see that it's like, oh, this isn't a Mega Man game, The child is creepy. The child. Yeah. How will they handle emotions? Yeah. Yeah. Of course, it's been so long that I kind of forget some of the key things about it. But I think there is some interaction that you have to do with the AI kid on you, and then there are like puzzles that you have to do together. Is kind of the thing. Capcom has had to publicly deny that the game is secretly a Mega Man title. Online fan theories kicked off this year, noting similarities in the design of the robotic girl, Diana, and Capcom's Mega Man, as well as thematic connections, like the game taking place on a moon base taken over by evil machines. Gotcha, yeah, just generally has had to. It's crazy. Oh man. So Capcom has now officially debunked the rumor after VGC quizzed Pragmata producer Naoto Oyama-san about the theory. Pragmata is not a Mega Man game, he laughed. It is a completely new game from Capcom. I was actually one of the producers on the Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection as well, so I'm happy to see that people who love Mega Man are passionate about Pragmata too. From my standpoint, it is nice to see people are being so positive about it. Okay. They're continuing to consider ways to revive Mega Man, though. All right. I think the final thing that I had out here is just on a salary kind of tip. So GDC, they did a, I guess that's thing, Game Developers Conference. Did a salary survey, and the average salary is $142,000, but 24% have been laid off in the past 2 years. So that tells you the opportunity and the heartache of making games. Oh, this is US specifically. This is the US. The full report includes findings that provide a snapshot of industry salaries. And we have some survey data. So median salary is $129,000. Which reflects the typical value in the middle of the data set. And, yes, the average is skewed by extreme results. And that is why you use the median when you're talking about income. Yeah. And it really is very rough and getting rougher because of company owners that are now implementing AI into everything and actively slashing labor, like actively using it as a way to slash labor. 80% of employed respondents said their current salary meets or exceeds basic needs. half of respondents say they feel somewhat or significantly undercompensated based on their role, experience, market conditions. That increases to 69% for contractors, consultants, and people who are working part-time. 60% of women and non-binary people report feeling undercompensated compared to 50% of men. So slightly more of women and non-binary people. Along with 60% of non-white game workers, compared to 50% those who solely identify as white. So slightly more again for non-white workers. A whopping 98% of respondents rate the game industry as less secure than others. 29% of them say that they're unlikely to stay. 21% were unsure. 2/3 of respondents support the unionization of game industry workers. Over half of respondents saying they're interested in joining a union. You'd have to live way below your means if you're inside of it. Yeah. Just yeah. That's totally it. That's I'm kind of in the same place, and that kind of, because again, like, it's an industry that I want to work in and it's that I want to go into, but the outlook is so bleak that it it makes it really tough to make that plunge. I remain hopeful that there will be some way to make it happen, but boy, it's not great. I hate pie charts. I really don't like pie charts. It's hard for me to get a visual understanding of relative shares, I guess. But this is a good way to get data labels on, I suppose. So I guess they're showing what has changed since the previous year. So about 22% have the same response as last year, basically. In terms of, okay, so this is whether salary has increased or not. I see. So 39% of the population has seen their salary increase. The sample population has seen their salary increase. 14% saw it increase somewhat. 11% saw it increase significantly. 4% non-response. And then 6, 1, and 3 have decreases. Okay. So more people got raises. Some people got cuts. Okay, so 1/4 of game industry professionals have been laid off sometime in the past 2 years. Many of them are still looking for work, yes. Yep. And yet, the industry persists. Studios are recruiting, developers are making games, mentors are guiding the next generation. Is that excluding people who lost their jobs? The salary picture, I would imagine. Yeah, currently employed. Yeah, this is excluding people that lost their jobs. I believe the asterisk is talking. Yeah, but yeah, okay. They could be clearer on that, but I'm pretty sure this does exclude that. Let's see. Of course, salaries tend to be higher for people in AAA studios and at larger companies. That makes sense. It's just places that would have more resources to be able to pay, but then also more wherewithal to be able to cut. Education levels do not seem to significantly impact average salaries, except for those with a master's degree or PhD who tend to get paid more. Okay. People making over $100,000 per year by seniority So directors, managers. Oh, I see. So 89% of directors make over 100,000. So conversely, 11% of directors make less than 100,000. 19% of managers make less than 100,000. 33% of employees make less than 100,000, and 79% of contractors. Wait. Yeah. 79% of contractors make less than 100,000. Okay. This is exactly the article that I needed to see here. This is some of the things I've been thinking of. Whether I could work as a contractor or something. Interesting. Okay. Studio type. If you're at, okay, so here's the AAA or AA or, well, yeah, anyway. Big budget, medium budget, small budget. Co-developers. Okay. Anyway, all right. Fine. Anything else in here? Here's a graph. Do you feel fairly compensated for your work? And so this is showing kind of. It's not exactly a bell, is it? That's a skew. There's probably a much wider swing between the highest and lowest. Sure. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that's got to be there. There's going to be, specialists that are very highly experienced and in the West that probably get paid a whole lot. And then there's probably a whole bunch of contractors that don't get paid very much at all and probably are in other regions that don't have great labor laws and all that kind of stuff. I would imagine that would be some of the stuff that's going on there. Okay. So I think on balance, most people feel like they're undercompensated as compared to people who feel that they're overcompensated. There's like 6% of people here that are like dealing with imposter syndrome or something. Oh man, you're paying me too much for the work that I do. Been there, I guess. I shouldn't laugh. Oh my god. Yeah, ultra privileged. God. I'm sorry. It's just so morbid sometimes when you look at this stuff that it's like if you don't laugh, you're just gonna outright cry. Oh man. All right. I don't do anything here. I don't even do anything here. Why are you still paying me? I'm really confused about this, but it's nice. Damn. Easy money. Oh man. Okay. People who directly work on games say that they also 1/5 say that they perform on other tasks like marketing, sales, business development, and so on. 11% of employed respondents take on additional work outside their primary job. Okay. Why they take on additional work? They say that they need more money. Over half say that they need more money. Over half also say that they need to fulfill their desire for creative fulfillment. And then you have about a third that are talking about project diversity and career development. And so here we go. Current state of layoffs. Have you been laid off in the past 24 months? 3/4 of the population of the sample population say no. So that is 562 multiplied by 0.76 is about, let's say 427 respondents, let's say that they haven't been laid off, which means that 0.1 times 562, so 56.14. About 8, let's say. Yeah, okay. One sec. Okay, so about like 78 people, I guess, responded that they have been laid off in the last 12 months. And then 56 people said that they were laid off between 12 and 24 months before. And then how many jobs have you applied to? So 50 respondents here, 40% of which have said they've applied to over 100 jobs, which I think is pretty much where you need to be. The remainder are all spread out here, 10% in the 50 to 99 zone, 20% in 20 to 49 applications, 14% between 1 to 9, 10 to 19, 2% have not applied at all. I think ultimately, if you're going to be doing applications blindly, blind applications, then you need to be hitting over 100 plus for sure. Undoubtedly the best way to go about it is to start talking to people that and try to just get introduced to people and try to get reference to people and try and then when you go into those things, you have your portfolio. I guess in this industry it would be important to have your portfolio of things that you've worked on, things that you've done, so that you can show that off and make a pitch about yourself to them and try to get a job that way. That seems to be like that is, I don't know, that's pretty transferable across industries too, I think, if you're trying to get a job somewhere. There's such a thing called the hidden job market, and that is where most of getting jobs happens. And then we have what is the visible job market, which is all these postings that you will see online. But much relatively fewer. And even those visible postings that you see, even some of those postings could just be postings that are put up there because by law they have to be put up there. But the reality could very well be that the posting that has been put up that is visible is intended for somebody that they already know that they want to hire that's out there. And so they're doing this thing to satisfy the legal requirement. And then they will then just hire that person that they wanted in the first place, right? And so you'll have a whole bunch of people who are wasting their time effectively putting applications on these job postings, thinking that they're legitimate job postings, and therefore I should spend time to read them and try to customize my resume around it and put it in and all this kind of stuff. And it's not. The employee is already in mind. And this is how it works in some places. And I know this, man. Okay, let's see. Anything else here? "32% of folks working in audio, game design, or visual arts have worked for at least 5 companies over the past 10 years. 28% of people working in audio, game design, or visual arts experienced a layoff in the last 2 years. 1/4 have been laid off at some point. Okay. That's fine. The climate of ongoing layoffs and studio closures has led some game industry professionals to question the stability of their own careers. Most still feel relatively secure, though. Okay. Say most people, well, or certainly over half of people want their base salary to be improved. Though there's like 1/4 of people surveyed that want things like a better annual bonus, more work-life balance, and opportunity for PD or professional development. Yes, my salary exceeds my needs. Damn. 44% of people say that salary meets their needs, but otherwise 28%, 11%, 6%. So about 45% of the sample population is either getting their needs met or it's below their needs. And that's I'd say 11 plus 6 is 17%, is basically below their needs. Okay. And pay equity is an issue. Is a complicated issue. 33% of employed respondents say their companies are working to close existing pay gaps for women and employees of color, while 1/10 said no efforts were being made. And 38% of respondents said that they didn't know. 15% said there was no need to establish a salary parity. And 17% said that their companies didn't have a gender pay gap, including 21% of men. The numbers, okay, so here we go. Average salaries. So white 150K, non-white 114K, male 155K, female 122K. Right? So there's the gender pay gap, which definitely exists and it's well documented. And we could go to StatCan and we could calculate it. Non-white workers earn 27% less than their white peers. Women earn 24% less than their male peers. Okay. Okay, so there's anyway. I'm gonna gloss over pay transparency. The transparency is gonna be not great. But this is more interesting here. This is, do you support the unionization of workers? And so 64% say yes. Are you part of a union? Respondents say 56% say no, but I am interested. 28% say no, not interested. And so there's 6% non-response, I guess, or not applicable, and 4 plus 5, so 9% are unionized. Industry-wide union. 5% are in a company union, and 4% are in an industry-wide union. Okay. All right. Very interesting. I think I support the unionization of. I think it's generally would be a very positive thing. I think it would go also a long way to secure more equitable pay and pay increases. Yes, very interesting indeed. Hey, what's up, Skep? Hey man, nice to see you. That's pretty much going to do it for the news. Thanks for tuning into the news. We'll see you again next week at some point for the news.